Welcome to Breaking the Huddle, the Rusher edition. So this week we're doing things a bit differently. All the other episodes we had specific divisional guys. Now we're going a bit different. We're going to have just rushers. So obviously, poor form on myself. I'm the host, Daron. With me are Andrija, Matt, and John. So all three of these guys are, I wouldn't say legendary, but very well-established rushers in this league. Just to give you an idea, we have a combined 6 Flag Plus Football Championships here, 2-way Player of the Year, and 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards amongst the 3 guys here. So we're in pretty good company. Obviously, all of them have been All-Stars as well. So as we always start, we start off with the first segment where we start talking a bit more, just general discussion about the league. But right now, what we will be discussing is rushing, because we want to hear the take of these 3 guys who have made their names as rushers in this league. So the first question I have is, the most basic question I can ask is in terms of strategy. So as a rusher, what's your strategy personally when you come in, when you're going down on a rusher? What's going through your mind from the moment the ball is snapped to the moment you get to the quarterback? So we'll start with you, Dre.
Well, me personally, every quarterback is completely different. If I'm rushing against a quarterback that's going to run the ball, I'm not going to go in a full blast and get beat easily with a juke. With the years, you get used to it. I've been in the league for a while now, so I know different types of quarterback, how they run, how they throw. Especially in Division 1, which for me is the biggest challenge. Quarterbacks are so quick with their reads, so you take it as a slow approach. Usually my main goal is, because I'm so tall and everybody calls me, the tallest guy there, block off all his areas. I usually try to block most of the pass and sack second. That's my strategy if you think about it.
Matt, I'd like to hear your strategy. Obviously, you don't have the same advantage that Dre does in terms of the height and the long arms. So what's your strategy when you're rushing, especially since you've rushed a bit more in the lower divisions than in Div 1? Is it different?
Well, I mean, I agree with him. Every quarterback's different.
Yeah.
You got to really see. I mean, we played the Rude Boys the other day, and he didn't move. So you got to more or less just gun it at him, put your hands up, and do what you can. But the guys that run, you also got to break down beforehand. I mean, it's really depending on the quarterback.
Okay, and in terms of the breakdown, take us through the whole process. What are you looking for in the quarterback when you're trying to make your decision of when exactly you should break down? Is there a tell that they give you, or is it really just?
Well, I mean, realistically, if you see a moment of hesitation, that's your chance to gun it through.
Yeah.
Most of the time, what I do is I take off as fast as I can, about 3 or 4 feet before I might break down, and see what he's going to do. I let him make the first move, and then I rely on my speed or my jukes to close it up.
To close the gap. Yeah, exactly. John, same question to you. What's your strategy? Obviously, you have a different vantage point as playing quarterback and rusher in the past. So, what's your strategy going in on that quarterback?
Well, I pretty much try and get to him as fast as I can off the line. I try and get to the line of scrimmage, right away. My goal, normally, I don't have the height advantage, as you can see. My wingspan is really short. So I really rely on making the quarterback throw before he would like to. I think as a quarterback as well, that's when the rusher gets to you really quick, makes it really tough on the quarterback, because if his first read's not there, he knows I'm there. I also do what Matt does. I like to break down. The tell I normally get from most quarterbacks is the minute when they lower the ball. I can tell that they're going to probably break down and try. I want to try and let the guy beat me. I'll challenge him to beat me. I have a style, mostly I like to block a lot of passes. So I like to get my hands up. Even if I'm not near him, I'll have my hands up so he can't see. I like to block the middle. But yeah, my basic strategy is to get to him as fast as I can and make him throw the ball when he doesn't want to, which would lead to interceptions and such.
Now, that's an interesting point you brought up about the trying to block the ball. Now, this is something in which a lot of rushers do differ. A lot of guys, they just try and keep the low stance, try and get there as quick as possible, just go for those hips. But sometimes we see, especially in the higher divisions, a lot of the rushers getting those arms up to try and block the passing lanes and everything. Do you, Matt, we'll go with you since John basically gave the answer. Do you feel that, what is your take on that? Do you feel like you need to get those arms up all the way, or?
Absolutely. I mean, it blocks his view, like you said. But over the years, I've learned that getting your hands up at certain points, I mean, he has a view, he's looking for it, and then you put your hands up, he doesn't see it anymore, then he decides to make a move. So, yeah, it's important to put your hands up. I mean, I've gotten beat before because of it.
Yeah.
You're putting your hands up, concentrating on the block, and he just around you. So, I mean, you gotta.
But
there's a
even
style
then,
to it.
you still think it's
Absolutely.
more important too.
Absolutely.
All right. And then obviously I know that Dre does it because I mean that's his biggest advantage. Obviously, it would be insane not to use it. But the question I have for you, Dre, is obviously for a rusher, a lot of times when people come into this league, they judge rushing based on the sacks, which is kind of illogical as we see as the seasons go on, because pressure is more important and batted balls are important. Earlier on in this league's history, we did not track batted balls, so you would never get credit for that either. But for your mind specifically, obviously a sack feels great, but what has been your mindset, and how has it evolved from when you started in this league up till now in terms of sacks versus pressures and things like that?
Well, me back in the day, it was all speedy guys. All guys who go for the flag. I was one of the only ones that started batting balls away. You guys didn't keep the track. I don't know how much I got, but I did pretty well back then. But playing in higher divisions, like with the Express, I had to change completely because you don't have time to get to the quarterback. It takes some, like, you don't even pass the line of scrimmage, the ball's already gone. So you gotta quick read. You gotta either block off one side, you block off the center. You don't give him those options. You make him go deep with a great defense. All defenses in Division 1 are usually top notch. So me with the Express, I'm lucky because they're all DBs, they're all fast guys. So if I give him that extra second and make the quarterback hesitate, that's where you get a big play. And me, I love interceptions. I'll take it any day over a sack. Sack for me doesn't mean nothing. It's the interception, the big play to change the momentum of the game that is going to change the game.
I assume you guys would be in agreement about the sack versus interception type thing. Half-half.
Yeah, well, you get the sack, looks like you're doing something, you know. But
Yeah.
like you said, a lot of people don't realize most of the interceptions happen because of the rusher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it all starts with the rush. That's why you know it's really important, especially in D1. You know, I've rushed in D1 as well. Guys like Kevin Wyatt takes a snap, first read, it's gone. It's out of his hands. Rare you're going to sack him.
Yeah.
So all you're going to try and do is if his first read's not there, you're there. You know, let the coverage get the sack.
Okay. Now, moving on towards, now we often talk about, do rushers get the proper respect? So I broached that a little bit with the whole concept of interceptions versus sacks. So a lot of times these guys who get a lot of sacks get a lot of respect, but these are guys who can get beat a lot. Certain names I could think of back in the past in this league, a guy like Ravi Mehta, for example, who's a speedster blazing and would just sometimes run right by the quarterback, and the quarterback's got another minute to decide what he wants to do. So do you find that the right rushers get the proper respect in this league? And also, do you find in general the rushers as a position get the respect they deserve? It's very easy for people to say, oh, the rusher is the most important position on the defense. But you guys, having played on multiple teams, obviously all of you, do you find that the rusher position is properly valued in your experience? So Dre, we'll start with you.
Well, with the Express, obviously I'm not the most talented guy on that team, and I know it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but all those guys count on me to make the big play. And as a rusher, I'm dependent on to block the balls. If I don't block a ball, I hear about it. So I think, honestly, in this league, if you have a good rusher, most of the teams, unless you're super talented every position, you'll have always a good chance to win. Because the sack, the interception, the batted balls, how many batted balls picks you see a lot from rushers. Like Matt Norzel, he was amazing when I watched him play. I try to do the same, and I think that's the big difference.
All right, Matt, what do you feel vis-a-vis respect? Now, obviously, you've played on some teams that have been, you know, the super teams, as we call them, like, for example, with the Mercenaries. A lot of big names, a lot of guys who have egos and may or may not check them at the door. So how do you feel, that experience or with any other, how do you feel that your rushing has gotten respect or disrespect with your teams?
Well, I guess for rushing, I mean, it's a big part of the game.
Yeah.
Whether people see it or not. But for me, it's taken, say, a couple of years to get my name. I mean, people know me now. You know, if you're playing against me and I'm rushing, that their game's going to change. The gully's not going to run like him. He's not going to run against me because he's petrified.
Yeah.
Petrified.
So I'm hoping we hit the Dirty Birds in the finals. Yeah.
All right, I like to see where that's going. Now, John, same question to you. How do you feel?
He does have a point. I mean, I as a quarterback, it's a little different for me. My opinions on that. I give rushers the utmost respect. If I know I'm playing a guy like Kirouac over here, my game plan kind of changes. You know, it definitely has to change because I know I'm not going to break down and try and beat him. Because that would be really tough because I know and I give him all that respect as the great rusher he is. And I've had, just like when we played SWAT, I look at their roster and I see who their rusher is. And I see he has 3 sacks a game. right there I get a little nervous. You know, I'm like, okay, this guy, he's probably going to get to me quick. Probably not going to beat him off the run. So I got to kind of establish my game plan. So I would say, yeah, the first thing I look at on the other team is who the rusher is. But that's from a quarterback perspective.
Yeah.
I'm sure most quarterbacks
Would have to do that.
would have to agree with me.
Yeah.
Like if Dre here was rushing me, my game plan would definitely change to, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't throw over him. Probably won't beat him because of his reach. So I got to start throwing short hooks. I got to get the ball out of my hand quick.
Okay.
So yeah, rushers get respect.
Okay. Now, going even further in that line, we've had some complaints in the past that Defensive Player of the Year always goes to, you know, someone playing safety or whatever, the guy who gets the most picks and things like that. Now, we have two exceptions to that rule. We have Dre and Matt, who have both won Defensive Player of the Year. John, you've obviously won a two-way Player of the Year as well, all of you guys with rushing involved there. Do you feel that there should be a separate award for the Rusher of the Year, since it's such a completely different position compared to Defensive Player of the Year? It's almost like it's comparing, for example, Receiver of the Year and QB of the Year. They have two different positions on offense. Why shouldn't defense have two different positions? What are your thoughts on that? We'll start with Matt.
No, I don't know. I don't think that it needs a separate
Okay.
award because it is defensive also. I mean, if you're getting 20 sacks, 10 pass deflections, and if you play some defense and get a pick, I mean, that's all around defense. That's I mean, one of the years that's what I did. I guess I deserved it that year. But if I'm only getting, you know, 13 sacks and 5 pass deflections, and you're going to give it to me, a guy with 12 picks is obviously better defensively than I was.
But that's what I'm saying. Would you feel, because still 13 sacks and whatever, all the 5 deflections, that would still need some kind of, you know, recognition. So wouldn't you feel that maybe having a separate award for a rusher would be more beneficial in that case?
I don't know. I mean, it's getting that Defensive Player of the Year award in Division 3 as it is with 32 teams.
Yeah.
You got to go up and beyond. So if you can do that as a rusher, I mean, it's just as hard being a rusher than a safety.
Okay.
Or just as easy or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're good as a rusher. If you're good as a safety. You know what I mean? I don't think there should be a separate award.
All right, John, what are your thoughts on
I have
this?
to agree with Matt. Like, it's a defensive award. You know, it's definitely a team sport. Rusher being probably, I would say, the heart of the defense in a way. It's one of the most important positions on defense. I don't think you should make a separate award to single out rushers because it's a team. It's a team defense. You know, I'll get a sack because of a coverage. You know, everything works together. So I don't think you shouldn't single them out. You know, if you have a breakout year like these guys have had, give them the award. You know, it's either way. At the end of the day, it's all about stats. So, you know, unfortunately, rushers kind of have been under the radar.
Yeah.
I mean, my two-way Player of the Year, I think I had 16 sacks, something like that. So that was kind of obvious. You know, so I would keep the defensive award as the team defense.
Regrouping everything,
You know?
all right? And Dre?
I agree with them, but I also think that it would be a good idea because for the other rushers who are maybe not as good as like the top rushers, they would have something to go for. You know, like when you're 0-6, what are you gonna do? You know, you're gonna just say shit. We gotta lose every game. So they're gonna try to get more sacks, at least get an award, and you know, build their career for the next year and stuff like that. So yeah, it can go both ways.
Yeah, because in the end, that recognition could be helpful in
finding maybe a better team
up.
and
Yeah,
winning
exactly.
a championship, stuff like that. So.
All right. Well, that's it for the vague general aspects. Now we're going to come back. We're going to go to our lightning round, as I like to call it sometimes. Maybe this is the first time, I don't know. And we're just going to ask you guys really quick answers, quick questions, quick answers. I want names. If you guys want to call somebody out, you call somebody out or whatever. We'll see. I see some looks between those two there, so we'll see.
It's a little rivalry we got going. I can't believe I'm sitting next to the guy. I mean, it's kind of weird.
Well, I would say hopefully there won't be a fight at the end, but then again, hopefully there will be because that would be more entertaining. All right, so we'll be right back with the lightning round. All right, back now with the quick questions, quick answers. So first question I'm going to ask you guys, we'll start with John here on this one, in the interest of moving all along. So John, I want to ask you, what is your favorite kind of QB to rush? Now, obviously, your answer is there's really only 3 kinds. There's a guy who scrambles, a guy who stays in the pocket, or a guy who kind of does both. What is your favorite kind of QB to rush?
Scrambler.
Scrambler?
Oh, yeah.
You like the challenge?
Love it.
And what changes for you compared to, for example, a pocket guy or...
Well, I won't run directly at him. I'll kind of, depending on how much room I have, I like to rush from the right.
Yeah.
It's just a personal preference. So I'll kind of try and maybe force him to a side, and then just kind of angle him, and then the minute he tries to cut back, I'm there.
Okay.
So I give him a little bit of a gap. I'll try and make him throw the ball. I want him to throw it, because if he's a scrambler, most likely.
He's not a great passer.
Yeah, I'd rather make him throw, so I'll give him that little gap, and I'll just try and let him beat me. And I'd say about 99% of the time, I'll get the flag.
All right, Matt, what's your thought? Favorite kind of rusher?
Scrambler also.
Yeah?
I like for a QB to think he could beat me. I'll even let him go once just to give him confidence.
So it's all the part of the mind game, basically.
Yeah. That's how we do it.
All right, Dre?
Honestly, it's a pocket passer like Ryan Kastner. To block one of his balls and stuff, it's a huge challenge. How quickly he throws it, it's easy to sack him. Everybody can sack him, and he knows he doesn't care for the sack. But to block one of his balls, it happened to me one game. I blocked it, I intercepted, and I scored a touchdown. Honestly, that's the toughest part in this game as a rusher, is to block one of those QB's balls when they're really pocket good passers.
All right. We're gonna resist making the joke there. All right. I see it, John.
If I was 6'6", I'd probably like the pocket passer too.
Yeah, exactly. So now I want this one's a little bit off the beaten path. Now I want to ask. I know a lot of rushers have dirty tricks in this league. All right, whether it be when you're reaching for the flag, you give him a little nudge or anything like that, or sometimes your hip hits his hip or something like that. What's the dirtiest thing you've ever seen done or you've done yourself as a rusher in this league? Sometimes there's just some quarterbacks you don't like and you want to send a message to kind of get in his head. So Dre, let's start with you.
Probably trip by accident a quarterback. It does happen, like you fall and you by accident you hit him, but that's part of any game. That happens when you're in competitive mode. You do sometimes that happens. You do something.
But sometimes you don't do it just to send a message.
No,
Okay.
I'm a clean player. I'm not gonna injure nobody.
All right, Matt. I'm hoping for a different answer here.
I hate keep coming back to him, but there was one. I knew he was going to get the ball off, and I still went up to slap the ball, and he jammed his finger right in mine, and he was hurt.
To this day, it's still crooked.
Yeah.
Zoom in.
I mean, I didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah. But you didn't mind that it happened.
No. I
That's
said I'm sorry with a smile on my face.
John?
Dirtiest thing I've probably ever done. Well, I mean, dirty as in bad, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, not technically completely illegal, but
Okay, well,
you're not getting arrested for it, but the other QB won't like you very much.
half the time I'm really tired on defense anyway. But the dirtiest thing I've probably ever done was jumped up to, I forget, I think it was Mario Schwery when he played Raiders.
Yeah.
I went up to jump, block the pass. I missed it, and both my cleats landed right on his toes.
Ooh.
And he was
Just
out.
sounds painful, yeah.
And the minute I landed, so I mean, that's probably the worst thing that could happen.
I bring it up because rusher, we see a lot of like these, or rusher with the snapper, rusher with the, there's always some kind of battle going on with the rusher. I find it's the most mind game position aside from quarterback in FPF. Now, so your favorite type of QB to rush, we got the answer. Do this one a bit more quickly. What's the hardest kind of QB for you to rush? So do I just flip the answers and say pocket for you guys and,
Pretty much.
and scrambler for you? Is that it, John?
I
see you kind of not.
Kevin Wyeth.
That's the hardest kind of quarterback for you to rush?
Yeah.
That guy.
Takes
all
the
right.
snap 10 yards,
Yeah.
gets a bullet from the snapper, and lets it off right away.
Okay.
It's hard to stop that.
All right. So now let's go into the league players that exist here. I'm asking you guys to take yourselves out of the equation, although you could vote for somebody else on the panel. Who is the best rusher you have seen in Flag Plus football, excluding yourself? Dre, let's start with you.
There's a guy right here next to me.
All right.
Simple as that.
Easy question. Easy
If I
answer.
had the speed like that.
They'd never get the ball off if you had length like that and speed like that. Matt, who's the best rusher you've seen in Flag Plus football? You don't have to pay it forward.
I'm not
Oh,
good
don't
at
even look at me.
Well, to be honest, I don't really see rushers necessarily because if I'm playing receiver, I've never been a QB.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the guy's name was. I played with the Mercenaries. He was the other rusher. He was pretty good.
Okay.
But I don't know. Ask Gino. I don't know.
We'll send him an email.
I don't know. But he actually showed me a couple of things that I still use
Okay.
in terms of rushing.
Was it Carl, Denis?
Carl, yeah, I think it was Carl.
Little guy?
Yeah, little guy. He's pretty good.
That's it, yeah, Carl. Carl's got that veteran experience.
Yeah, he showed me
what he's doing.
a couple of things. Yeah.
All right. John.
Prince is good. I actually learned a lot from him, but personally, I hate to boost this guy's ego, but it's definitely got to be Kirouac. I mean, I don't know what it is with him, but I've always had problems with him. And, you know, compared to other rushers, he's got the speed, he's got, you know, he just gets there. A lot of times when he deflags me, I get so mad because I don't understand how it happened. But yeah, I got to say, you know, Prince good, but Kirouac
Better.
Definitely best I've seen.
All right. Now, last question of this lightning round is, I want to know who's a rusher you've learned a lot from. Now, unfortunately, you guys kind of gave me your answers, so you kind of cut me off at the hips, right? So would you say Prince, John?
I mean,
Jason Prince would be.
I talked to him, and like when I played Shockers with him, we were kind of rotating snaps, and I was known in the league, but I was a good rusher in like D4, for example. Yeah. So when I went up to the higher divisions to rush, Prince definitely taught me a lot.
All right, and then Matt,
well, I mean, I guess I kind of just went with it from the beginning. I played with the Jokers, and I didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah, that's it.
So I just went with it, and you learn as you go.
And anybody you've watched over the years and like said, oh, that's a great idea, I should do that, or anything like that, or not really?
Yeah.
Just pick it up as you go along.
Pretty much.
All right.
I mean, it depends on QBs too.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, Dre?
Same thing for me. I just have my own style. I do what I do.
All right, so nothing you've ever...
No.
We've got trailblazers here on this panel. These guys figured it out on their own, and they're among the league's best, so that's impressive.
That's why they have no tricks, you know, you gotta learn something from other people. For example, Prince taught me the fake jump. That works a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Especially when you get caught jumping. Yeah, the fake jump.
Right.
You don't know about that.
You'll see.
The minute you fake jump, then the quarterback, the ball drops, and then you know he's yours.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it for the lightning round. I can feel the tension building on the camera right side of the panel, so hopefully we'll have a knockdown, drag-out brawl by the end, but if not, I'm sure it'll still be good times. So we'll be right back with commish for the day and individual questions for each of our panelists. All right, back now with Dre, Matt, and John for Commish for a Day. So this is the segment where I offer you guys presidency of the league. I give you the vaunted position of Mr. Robert Campana, and I ask you what change you would make. Now, this doesn't have to be limited to rushing. It could be any change you would like to see instilled in the league, whether it be rules, whether it be discipline, whether it be stat taking, or improvements on the whole game experience. So Dre, let's start with you.
Honestly, I'd like to be an outdoor game, especially for a rusher who's diving in this turf and scars all over.
Yeah.
I'd love to have an outdoor games, like real football would be really something different.
Now, would you want that to be like every game?
Like
or?
every spring, like the spring league where it gets warmer. Of course, we're not going to go play in minus 40 degrees there. But outdoors in the spring, some games, like have special games or something like
the Heritage Classic
yeah,
in
something
hockey,
like that,
kind of?
just to give a bit of a difference, you know.
All right, Matt, what change would you make?
I don't know. You guys do a great job with it, but I don't know. Maybe not getting flagged if you do a little end zone dance or something.
I love that suggestion. I really hate.
I have to, like Hurley playing for the Dirty Birds. He's got moves, man. I need to see him dance in front of someone's face and not get a flag, you know.
Yeah. All right, I like that answer too. All right, now John.
I make the games longer. You know, I know it's tough with the time restraints and getting the field, but you know, there's got to be something. You know, sometimes the game's late getting started and then it cuts into our time, or you know, something happens so the refs have to go do something else and then our game stops. You know, I just don't feel like we're getting the full, like, what is it, 22-minute halves? 22-minute running time?
Yeah.
Bump it up to 25. Because there's always that couple minutes where there's a lot of downtime. It's cutting into our time.
Yeah.
For example, the Titans, we beat them 39-0 only, but they never stopped us. But we only got the ball twice in the second half because our game got cut short. So it's just stuff like that.
Did they stop the time with like 3 minutes left or something? Unless you did something like that, you know.
No, yeah, it would have to be something like that. But the problem with that would be you kind of lose track sometimes. It's opening a whole new can of words. But look, obviously, longer games, everybody would love that. You know, it's unfortunately we're kind of stuck with what we're stuck with.
And also a scoreboard.
Scoreboard would be awesome.
Scoreboard, you know, just like when I played house league basketball, they just literally have a desk with a little scoreboard.
Yeah.
It was easy to see. You see the time. See the score.
Good point. Just I don't think having a desk on the sidelines is the best idea. 'Cause seeing how things have gone, you know, it's a busted
right?
busted head.
You can throw that one out.
Oh no, right? I think we should have a huge scoreboard. Look, let's go all out while we're at it. But obviously, good suggestions. You know, I don't think Rob will lose his job just yet, but keep building that resume and maybe. All right. So now individual questions for each of you guys. So John, we will start with you. I brought it up before. You're obviously a quarterback and rusher. Are you rushing in the past? You've made your name as that, but as a quarterback as well. Obviously, you've got a championship and the two-way player of the year to your name. What I would like to know is what advantage do you find you've gained having played both those positions, both as quarterback and as rusher? So vice versa, like based on the fact that you've played rusher, how do you feel that's given you an advantage as quarterback? We'll start there.
Advantage. As a quarterback, I don't really see much. It's kind of a disadvantage because you're wasting a lot of energy rushing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you get in the huddle and you kind of want to call a timeout. But I mean, as a rusher, it's definitely helped me. Just seeing, you know, knowing what I would do in that situation. You know, knowing, you know, third and short, guy's probably going to take off. You know, just knowing what kind of, like, the plays, and even playing with guys like, you know, Benny and stuff, just hearing the play, like Rashdi, hearing like how they call plays has definitely helped me as a rusher, because when I go play someone else, I'll kind of know, you know, as long as you know if he's running or not. But as a quarterback and rushing,
So basically you're saying your quarterback ability hasn't really been affected, but your rushing ability has.
oh yeah, definitely, just by, you know, just seeing the play and knowing what their quarterback tendencies are.
All right. Now, Matt, so obviously we were discussing a bit before we started filming, you do play a little bit of non-rusher. A lot of times in this league, what we've seen happen is a lot of guys start off at rusher, they make their name there, and then they suddenly decide, I don't want to do it anymore, and for lack of a better term, they decide rushing is beneath me. Is that something you could ever see happening, or would you always want to split the time a bit, or do you see yourself transitioning into more of a defensive player or a wide receiver or anything else like that?
No, honestly, I think I'll always want to rush. I love
Okay.
rushing. I don't want to give away our game plan or anything.
Yeah, without having.
I mean, certain situations call for certain things.
Yeah.
If a guy's not running and there's nothing I can do to get to him faster, and I'm better off playing safety or flats, then I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm always going to rush. That's for
Okay.
sure. There's always going to be running quarterbacks. There's always going to be people that I'll be able to get. Lately, I mean, over the past couple of years, people stopped scrambling.
Yeah.
They've gotten, I mean, the first couple of years, like 22 sacks, 23 sacks.
Yeah.
They didn't stop running. Now it's just pocket.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to be whatever situation.
Okay. And if you do see things continue to progress in that trend where less and less people are scrambling and everything like that, would you give up more and more snaps at rusher, or do you always want to have some kind of baseline in rushing?
I'd always want to be known the go-to guy for rushing on the team.
Okay.
But if there's a backup,
Yeah.
give him a try. You know?
Well, obviously it's worked out well for you. Two of our esteemed panelists named you as the best rusher they've seen, excluding themselves. So far, so good. All right, Andrija, we'll close it off with you. So what I want to ask is, obviously, the higher you go in the divisions, the more intricate defensive game plans and things you start getting in. So what I want to know is, basically, how has the game plan, how does your role in the game plan for Express change depending on, let's say, which quarterback you're facing, depending on which team you're facing? What do they ask you to do from game to game? Does it change?
It doesn't change at all. The Express, honestly, they have their game plan. They know what I do. They just let me go. Because me, with the experience I have, I know every QB, what's his tendencies. Like Carmen, I know he's always going to do the little outs. He's going to use a snapper a lot. Then every quarterback's different. Wyatt, like he says, is one of the best. By the time you get there, the ball's gone, and you're looking behind. And you got to run to try to make a tackle. At least that's the only way you're going to get a sack or a tackle. Kastner, of course, you go for the sack, but it's pointless for him. He'll wait till the last minute to get that throw out, to get the touchdown. And look at him now. He's one of the best QBs. He just beat the Demons recently, So for me, honestly, I have every week is different, completely different, and I just go with it. The Express, they have their game plan. They tell me what's the zone, what's this, what's that, and I do my job. That's it.
But then even then, that's kind of what I was getting at is with what they tell you. For example, do they tell you go from this side, go from that side? We're shading our coverage one thing, or it's really just they let you go?
Yeah, they let me. I know with the game plan, I know who's their top receivers, and I try to make them change their game plan.
That's it. Okay. Well, that is it for my part. Now, what I'm going to do is open up the floor for you guys. If you want to take shots at some quarterbacks who've pissed you off in the past, if you want to take shots at other people who are on this panel, you know, if you just want to say something or do something, get violent, you know, everything is up there. It's open for you guys. So, Dre, we'll start with you. You have any closing comments, anything you'd like to say, any shout-outs you'd like to give to any of your teammates or anybody you'd like to call out? This is your chance.
There's not much people I like to call out, but I love playing against Carmen. It's one of the guys that like you really want to beat because, I don't know, he's so good, so you got to beat him, and I don't know, I've had him in the past, and I'm going to try being better. And I'm not going to comment on nobody. I'm not a trash talker. I just do my job.
But I guess it's safe to say that next time we see you playing against Carmen.
Yeah, for sure. I love having his number, and he hates playing against me. I hate playing against him, and it's a rivalry. In every game, we shake hands at the end of the game, and the best team wins.
And in the end, obviously, your team Express has had success against Carmen Police quarterback teams in the past, at least more than a lot of other people have had. Matt,
I think I've ripped into him enough for today, but
I don't agree.
you don't agree?
We can do with one or two more.
Watch it, man. Watch it.
No, you know what? I'll let him be because he might. Nah, never mind.
What's he gonna do? You're not playing each other unless it's the finals.
You think you're not make it to the finals?
There we go. So, Matt, thoughts?
Thoughts? Whatever. You know what? I'm just gonna show them next. Well, not next week, but
Whenever you get the chance. I'll talk to Rob. I'll make sure we schedule it for next year.
I'm pretty sure that's why they put us in different conferences. Hopefully, you know.
To avoid
Epic.
Epic. That's right. Finals. Anything else you'd like to say? Any closing words with your time on camera here? Shout outs to anybody or
I'm not a
calling
talker.
out anybody?
I'm not a talker.
Rushers in general, I find, are not really talkers, with the exception of your Matt Norzel here and there. But they seem to just go about and do their job, and it's a common thread I'm seeing with you guys. John, you gonna break that mold?
I mean, I talk a lot, you know, but I'd rather just say Dirty Birds are back.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Expect the D3 championship. Ugh. You heard it from me right now.
So you called your shot.
That's my shot. Dirty Birds, beat us. Beat us. That's it. We're back.
We're back. All right.
Back.
On those final words.
Who?
Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
What was that?
No.
I didn't hear it.
SWAT who?
SWAT who? Oh, okay. I guess you guys.
I think we kind of made a little buzz. You know, no one gave us a shot. Given our history, and you know, we are a championship team. We know what it takes to win. So I just want to say we are back. And just watch out.
Matt, I was really hoping that was going to be one of those fake coughs where you just dropped something. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for being on. Dre, Matt, John. Obviously, these guys are all three of the best rushers that this league has ever seen. I think I would say it's safe to venture there's more than a few Hall of Fame bids in the next couple of years once certain people get enough seasons. So thanks, guys, for watching. That's it from us here at Breaking the Huddle. We will see you here next week. But until then, anybody who wants to take us out? Last words? I see John is doing something.
I was trying to do a little Dirty Bird kind of, but it's not working. So
all right, stay tuned. We're going to roll some of the trash talk between these two guys after the credits.